use my affiliate link to support the channel down in the description. Mr. Liam, shout out to Liam. We got his deck list right here. So what does he got cooking for us? We see a list with Nadir, so probably Ghost Spells in the main. Ghost Spell in the main is spicy. First we've seen that. I'm curious what how they're performing for you, Mr. Liam, if you're here in the chat right now. But yeah, you do have the ulti thrust, very nice, or at least one ulti thrust. It looks like a 40 card list too, so very tight. I'm curious about the bells. That's basically the biggest thing with that one, right? Bell, I just think hand traps aren't the best in our deck, and if you're not like running a crossout package, I just probably wouldn't be running hand traps personally. Just run like some droplets, you'll be doing a lot better. Droplets like way better than infinite impermanence right now. Like if you're just running imperm as your only hand trap, you should be running droplet. Because you should be saving your imperm. And like imperm is good in combination with hand traps, but like in combination with Bell, it doesn't always happen. And then we have Pompeo's updated list, which, oh, so he cut down on things. Nice. I like this list a lot better. Not the 60 card stuff. You cut out a lot of the fat. So this is interesting. We've been seeing this a little bit here and there. Also, what's up on Boofear? It's on a budget. Nice. If you posted it recently, I'll be able to check it out. I'm not sure where else it is. So yeah, we have the 3 Phantasmes. I think Phantasme is a bit troll. Like, I don't know. I would not be running Phantasme in your main. Like, it's good right now, but it's not that. It's going to be really bad against the decks it's bad against, which you still have to play against. I mean, it makes sense for Brand High Spirits because, like, it's a target for Brand High Spirits, but it's not a good one. So, I don't know. 3 Albion makes sense. 3 Saranir with the High Spirits, I guess, is an idea. And then the droplets and the, Feather Duster and Banishment, I just don't like. Main deck outside of the droplets, pretty good main deck. You know, there's some things you can do to cut it down to 50 or 45, obviously, I think. Borload Savage for the brand red, with all the dragons makes sense. 3 Foolish Barret returns. Curious what you think about those. With the Druid Swarm and Soul releases. Solid list outside of those, like, glaring things going on I mentioned. So yeah, I do, you know, you really do gotta cut the Phantasmes, like probably cut out the High Spirits, although it's like 3 Saranir is way too bricky. Adlib is like fine, but there's no puppet. Like, where's the puppet? You need puppet. Like, you don't need it, but don't play a 30-minute game one against a Fire King player. You don't want to do that, I don't want to do that, so just don't do that. That's what you get without puppet. Alright, we're going to be getting Jake the Mountain Man's list here. I think he's actually posted a couple lists, so we're going to... 40 card list, very solid. I think 40 cards is really a trend that we're seeing. It's like either we go 40 or, you know, we haven't seen really any list deviate outside the 45 cards outside of the one list. So right now it looks like we really do want to keep our deck about 45 cards. Obviously you can run more, you just have to be careful with the deck building. 37 viewers, what's up, what's up? We starting to recover a little bit from my AFK. Appreciate y'all. So, yeah, so I like the droplets a lot. I like the super poly, I like the thrust. You have 10 non-engine on top of the talent, so that's 11. Very, very strong going second. I bet, Jake, I bet you're breaking boards all day with this list. Do you like the kit? I'm curious. Very solid list. I really actually don't have too much complaints. Like, very solid list. Oh, you're missing the Bestials. Gotta put in the Bestials, brother. Bestial, I know, I think you went back on the Bestials. You went back to the Bestials, but you gotta run the Bestials, in my opinion. Like, Cartesia is always up. You always want her up to dodge Impermanent Veiler. So, Lubellion's just an extremely free card. You don't run the Nadirs plus the Lulu, which is a little weird, in my opinion. But I think that's because you like the Omni Negate, so that's okay. You have the Queritus too, that's okay. Double Mirror Jade, that's I like that. Droll and Nib. You said you were debating on taking out the Droll, so that's fair. And then you got the Masquerade with the one of Soul Release and the DDG for the thrust targets. I think that's fine. And then the even lean of the thrust. Or sorry, Cosmics. Jorge Zaragoza, how's it going? Sup, Branded Kings? Nice to see you, brother. Thanks for coming through the chat. We're just talking branded deck profiles. We just went over all the actual lists that topped regionals from the last 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks of Phantom Nightmare. So, definitely make sure you go check that out, guys. It will be re-uploaded as a VOD, though, so don't worry if you missed that. But yeah, I like this list. I'll go more into if that's actually your only list, but I'm pretty sure you posted another one. This one's kind of spicy. So we got a duality build finally. There was a build recently that actually topped with duality. I forgot to go over that, guys. It wasn't on YUGIOH Pro Deck. I thought I was gonna end up seeing it, but there was a build that topped with duality recently. They got like top 8, I'm pretty sure, too. So duality is very good in branded, I think. If you're gonna run Dragoon like in Double Grand Guignol, like you probably want to run duality right now. I think the extra card's actually really good. All things considered. So I like this list. I think the double Mercurier is a little troll. However, I think that Mercurier can come up double. Like I've missed double Mercurier a lot of times. Same with Andre Torres. I think the issue comes when you draw 2. He's drawing the one's great, like the duality, but yeah, there was a list that was pretty standard brand Despia, but they ran 2 duality, so I think duality might actually come back in style a little bit. Something I'm gonna definitely have to test a little bit as we go through this format. Tweak my side, but you don't need to cover. That's fair. So yeah, Double Grand Guignol seems quite good right now, so it's something to consider. Then also we do have the Shadal Fusion, which is cool. Shadal Fusion. Something I've been considering to run because he does it with the app Cologne, so obviously you're sending a Shadal Beast and Ariel, but it's like, what if you draw one of them? It's not great. And then also you have the Ash in the side, so I would probably remove Ash right now, just unless you're seeing a bunch of Lab. But duality's there. I mean, it already gives you that advantage of Lab, and then you have the Tactics, so it's a good list. 3 Albion's a little weird, though. Probably put that to 2 or 1. And then also 2 Albaz. You need 3 Albaz right now, brother. If you just draw 1 and discard 1 off of, like, opening, you can't even run. So this list is interesting insofar as it looks pretty standard, but the side is kind of techy with the Zeus and then the DD Crows. I'm curious what you think about those, Fabi. And then the main deck Banishment is definitely I just think Banishment just is not good going second, but like Nadir is there, obviously gets you there. Banishment is nice for the mirror matches, so maybe my man expects some mirror matches. So yeah. And then Droplets, 45 card build. I like the main deck, actually. I would just cut the Banishment personally. You do have the Foolish and Gold Sark. I think that's fine with like less and less Drolls. I just like, they're also like some of the weaker cards in the deck, so they're very much cuttable in my opinion right now. And then you do have the Thrust package, 2 Thrust and 1 Duplication with no talents, which is very weird. You need talents, my brother. Like if you don't have talents in your deck, you are doing yourself wrong on your branded deck. Not much else to say. He is on the Dragoon though. Crow's interesting. I think Typhon's not very good personally in a branded deck. It just shuts off way more of your things than it helps. Card limits. Okay, if you got to mine, I was finishing up laundry. I was saying I didn't swap Sacred Beast and Quick Gods. This is 2 decks without the same big boss energy. Hell yeah. I have not covered your deck yet. If it was recent, it should be coming up. I usually go from like decks like that we covered last, so like 2 weeks ago basically. Kidero 17's list. What's up Kidero? Saw you in the chat earlier. Hope you're still here. You got 3 Fallen the Valbaz, 3 Aluber, 2 Cartesia, 1 Quem. Really standard ratios. We do have the Dark Magician. I like the duality plus the 2 Nadir is interesting with the 1 Tactics. I have actually no problems with the main deck. It's very solid. Outside the fact you just need a little bit more non-engine, you would probably be maining droplet. But the duality might like suffice, you know. Kidro, that's mine. Would you go first or second with this? Decks I've encountered at my competitive locals are Lab, Snake Eyes, Fire Kings, Tri Brigade Fire Kings, Branded Chimera, Vanadium, Branded DM. So, I mean, like, obviously you want to go first with Branded, so, like, I would want to go first with this deck. But I think that you also want to be able to build your Branded deck to be able to go second. Like, you guys saw how I lost all my die rolls in my most recent region. I lost 9 die rolls, and I still won 7 of my games, and 2 of my other games I could have won if it weren't for my misplays. So you need to have a deck that can do that at a tournament. If you lose all your die rolls, it needs to be as good as it going first as it is going second. I think your deck leans a little bit more towards being good going first. You need to have a balance of that. So, you know, you maybe put in another Nadir and put in like 2 droplets and call it a day. I like the dualities a lot, though. How do you like duality, Kidro? I'm very much interested in that. With the decks that you have in your locals, it sounds like Droll's going to go very hard in your deck, so I understand the Droll. The droplets on the side, I like it a lot. The Dragoon makes sense. Masquerade, you gotta have it. Stepelia, I would also up to 2 Mirror Jade. I think 2 Mirror Jade is just really important right now. Like, you could take out the Masquerade and put in the side, in my opinion. Like, one of Tikaboo, like, you can run that, and that will be very sacky if you draw against certain decks. It's just a one of, though, and I think that's why it could, like, Masquerade could go in over it. Herald of the Abyss makes sense. I just think if you're dealing with those decks, you don't need Herald of the Abyss, really. You only need Herald of the Abyss if you're dealing with Raid Raptor or Purrely. But I really do like your list, man. You know, just a few micro adjustments. You do have the Thrust package with the 1 talents. With the Super Poly, I'm curious what you think of Dragoon as well. Salaman grade, you know, I think having something like Droll and Nib really helps for sure. The Cosmics obviously help against the Snake Eyes. It looks like you might want something for Labyrinth. But you do have the duality and the Dragoon access for Labyrinth. Kidro, okay, so what would cause my bricking then? What do you mean? No, I mean, I think your list actually looks quite good. I just think, like, yeah, if you put in Droplet, that's why I'm saying, like, you would probably have to up the Nadir. But I just think you need a little bit more for going second kind of thing. And you have 2 Nadir, so it looks like you can up your gas ratios, you know. Or maybe even cut some main decks. Like, you could cut, like, Gold Sark, worst case. Or maybe put, really can't cut anything else. But, you know, Quem could always go up to 2 as well. How do you like the build with a build without Kit? I feel like it's important for consistency. I don't personally like Kit that much. I just feel like the fact that it needs to put away a card is just so bad sometimes, but it's searchable off of Gold Sark. Jake the Mountain Man, I said something about Kit, so I do want to read that. I love Kit. She's how I go into Brand Lost a lot, or recall Branded in red. Oh, that's true. You can just summon her for free for loss sometimes. That is fair. I'm off the Bestials because everyone's maining Nib at my locals, and I keep my board strong and under 5 monsters. That is fair. It does play into Nib a bit. You don't always have to, but sometimes you just have to. But yeah, no, the Herald of the Abyss makes sense for the Purrely player. This time I have 1 card I could start with, but then if it gets Asher, Impern feels very bricky NGL. Well, that's the issue with duality. Duality is very good, but you have to stick to a like below 45 card build that has a lot of gas in it. So that's something you have to consider. So like if you're gonna stick with duality, you could actually probably just keep the build. I just think that Droplet is really your best friend this format. Duality is nice. I would just like maybe experiment outside of that perhaps, but like you could always like someone just topped with it, so it's a very good card, and you know it's always been a very good card in Branded, so nothing wrong with it. Very good list. Zelda Duelist cross out Despia build, can't afford thrusts. So what's a Zelda Duelist? Appreciate you always coming through. A little bit blurry of a list, but we'll deal with it. We do have 2 Imperm, 3 Nibiru, 2 Ash with the crossouts, 45 card list with 2 Tactics and Brand Fusion. No Gimmick Puppet in the main, but we do have the Adlib with 1 Quem. Pretty good list, all things considered, but no Gimmick Puppet. I mean, maybe because he's on a budget, but he does have the Perskinion, Double Mirror Jade Dragoon, 1 Grand Guignol with the Super Poly targets. So, and then he has 3 Kaiju, presumably for, I'm not sure what the 3 Kaiju are there for, but he does run the Light Kaiju with Herald, so my man is just not losing against Purrely. You do have the Forbidden Droplets in the Book of Eclipses with the Blazing Brand King and the D-Barrier. So Blazing Branded King is searchable. It's also your way to get around Droplet, but also you really don't need it if you're not running the Puppet. So I'd probably like try to get a Puppet. That's just kind of like my suggestion with this list. I think books are like okay to experiment with, especially if you're like going against a lot of like decks that are susceptible to book, like Cash. Oh, he updated it a little bit. I can post the updated build. Nibs in the side. Yeah, that makes sense. I like this build a little bit more. Just Bubbles. Here's Just Bubbles list. Oh, yeah, more duality. We love to see it. Dualities with the Shadal package with Thrust in the side. How do you like the Shadal package? Very much curious with 3 Albion, then 2 Mercurier. I feel like this is very similar to the list that we were looking at before. Yeah, true, but I never get to gassing. So would you? I just change duality for Droplet. I mean, I personally would, and then you can drop like Dragoon unless like let me see your locals meta again. You do have Lab, so that's the thing. If Lab is your hardest option, I think dualities go is a very hard against Lab. So, something to consider, because I'm looking at those decks and like Droplet isn't the best against any of them except for Vanadium and Snake Eyes, but obviously those are like half the decks. So duality, just like your build might just be correct for your locals a little bit. I mean, obviously like micro adjustments. I personally don't think duality is needed in the deck though, so I think it's always a pretty cuttable card. Yeah, Kidero, it's like one of those things. Oh, and also if you're playing against Lab a lot, I think Ash Blossom, or sorry, Ghost Bell. Try out Ghost Bell in your deck. Like in the side deck, I think Ghost Bell will hit the Fire King and Lab matchup pretty well. So that's something. But yeah, you know, just learning those matchups is definitely huge. So yeah, this list is 48 cards with 3 Droll Nadir. Very interesting. I do like the Panks in the side, but we'll talk about the side. So no Ash. I do think Imperm Droll seemed correct earlier in this format. I don't think it's necessarily correct right now, but you know, I don't think we should be like maining or siding Drolls, so that's why I would cut from here. But outside that, this very solid list. I mean, these should be droplets at that point. If you just cut those and put in droplets, very good list. Double Mirror Jade, and then the Nib Ash. I think Ash is very good on your side if you're going against a lot of Lab. I think you should just be playing Bell because it hits Lab and Fire King, and then also doesn't lose to Hida. And then 2 Pank. I do think Pank is something that we can experiment with this format. It's like okay. It's usually a 2-for-1, but like it's not always. I mean, just like tag into SP and stuff like that. And then you can like blast the Fire King Island if you want. And then Cosmic with Evenly for the thrust target. We have Victor Kaiser's list. Guys, we're at 25 likes right now. Let's try to run it up. Try to get 30 likes. Very much would appreciate it. Help support more branded content. Guys, link down below to sign up for a channel membership. You can press the join button next to my name right below this video. If you want to support the channel for $5 a month, you get emojis. You also get access to my Discord's channel where you get to ask me questions whenever you want about your branded deck or, you know, just upcoming tournaments and stuff like that. Very good way if you want some extra help on your brand deck, and then also just want to support the channel. Obviously, also have the TCG player affiliate link. So guys, make sure you're using that too. Bookmark it. Use it for all your TCG player purchases. I get a little bit kickback from all your purchases. Very much would appreciate it. It'll help me keep pumping out this branded content so readily. Kidro, so is there any way I can practice with someone in your Discord? Yes, actually, our Discord has a looking for testing section that you can post in, and you can like make an ad. You can be like, hey guys, I'm looking for testing. I'd like to remote duel. I'd like to play on DB. I'd like to play Omega. And then say what you want to test, you know. So yeah, our Discord's a very good resource, guys. Very much recommend joining the Discord. We have a great community there. A lot of us are just there helping each other get better at branded and other decks. You can ask questions and then also post your deck list, and then also most importantly, it's a way to get updates on all my videos. So make sure to check that out as well, amongst all those links down below. Also, you can like trade there. It's a really good resource we're developing there in that Discord, and you're missing out if you're not already in it. Kyle B, you missed mine zombie horde? I'll have to, I mean, like, we haven't gone through all of them yet. I'll have to look up your name because I did not see it. Anyways, I do like this 45 card list with the imperms, ashes, and crossout. I just think that you need to be running thrust right now, just because hand traps are just like, they're tough right now in this meta with Hito just running around. But you gotta do what you gotta do if you don't have thrust. So I forgot whose deck list this is too. It's Victor Kaiser's 917. He can't afford thrust. That totally makes sense. So I don't want to hate on that. If you can't afford thrust, totally fair. Someone say great Discord community. What's good, boys? What's up, Salty Fry? One of our goated mods in the chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I'm back. What's up, Duelist Red YUGIOH? Back. Sorry, I dipped out a while ago. Just got done using furniture. And did you do my list? No, we're getting down to. We're finally getting down to it. So, anyways, the Ido's spicy, the Shifter's spicy. How do you like Ido over? I mean, Ido is there. I get it. It's actually better than. It's a lot better against Lab and obviously Flu. So I've actually thought about siding it for Lab. Shifter's there for the fire decks, but like I don't think you need it personally. Like you should just be running Nib over it. Let your deck breathe a little. Alright, Zombie Horde, I'm gonna... Oh, I see your deck list now. Yeah, that's because it was from earlier today. That's why we haven't gone over it, Zombie Horde. Then we got Ryu's right here. We're still moving through all the deck lists from the last 2 weeks, don't worry. I'm after when you at the super heavy list. Okay, that's fair. Well, I'm off 2 a.m. here. Since I'm in Europe, I'll ask someone tomorrow in your Discord for some practice. Have a good stream, and thanks for review. No problem, Kiro. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, no, you could definitely do it on Omega, though. A lot of Omega players in our Discord. Hope you have a good time, or good night, bro. Thanks for coming through, brother. Oscar Molina, how's it going? So are we going Crossout over Nadir or both? No, Nadir's better. I like Thrust over Crossout. But it's like whatever you can, like, if you can afford Thrust, play Thrust and not over Crossout. If you not, play Crossout. That's how it is right now. I think Thrust is a better card than Crossout currently because Thrust is always live. I mean, Crossout obviously does get around Imperm, but I think Thrust does a bit more to break boards than Crossout does. He's like Thrust plus his talents just breaks any board right now. So, yeah. It's a cool list. 43 cards, crossouts with the Nib and then the Ghost Spell and the Imperms makes sense. Actually, very solid list. I just like there should be a puppet in here somewhere over the ad lib, but that's just me. Good side deck. Nothing really much else to say. You guys should start seeing some patterns, like Super Poly, Cosmic Cyclone, Droplet are the patterns here. Nibiru too. Also, just like if you're running cross out, obviously you do just like run the package that you have to run. We have Ryu's list, or no, that was Ryu. Shout out Ryu. Appreciate you, brother. We have Frosty Man's list right here. This one's a little disjointed, but we'll work with it. We'll work with it. So we do have a. I can't tell how. Can't tell how big it is. Chase, what do you think about that list that Lofton sent us since he had yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was interesting. I just don't want to talk about too much just in case he ends up using it, but I think he was like missing a couple things, like only running Lubellion is like not correct. I think you need to run Saranir. There's like enough times where you draw a Lubellion. If you don't have Saranir to search, it's just like really bad. It's just a complete brick, like, so. And like, Saranir helps you get to Brand Fusion. I think he was doing a bit, like, there's a lot right with that list. I think the Panks are interesting to consider. I think that gives us more room to get over Anti-Spell. It's something I probably wish I had in my side. Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about that list, honestly. Let's see. Was there anything else? I mean, I like the main deck Nibs. Instant Fusion's interesting. That's a tech that I'm going to be talking about coming up, guys. We could be main decking Instant Fusion because Mud Dragon's just really broken right now. And you could like main, or Millenniumize. I think Nadir's very good right now. Two Quem's very standard. Tactics very good. I think like Ash in the side just felt really bad for me, so Super Poly in the side feels kind of bad too. But like Nib in the main is kind of like, I guess, what you trade off for that, you know, Chase. What did you end up thinking of it? Yeah, no, I agree, Kyle B. Nadir feels absolutely broken right now. What's up, Vincity? How's it going? How's it going? I'm late. I made it in. What did I miss? So you missed, we went over all of the regional topping branded Despia deck profiles so far that have been recorded. I went through basically every single one that's been reported that got top 8 or better. And we went through them. We went through the trends. It's going to be recorded and re-uploaded as a video on YouTube, so don't worry if you missed that. You could check that out in the next couple days, or you could just go back in the stream and watch it. Also, now we're doing Discord deck lists, so we're going over all your guys' deck lists, so make sure to post your deck list, brother, if you want me to go over Mr. Vincity. Always appreciate you coming through. Entrist is interesting, Chase. Yeah, I completely agree. Entis is actually interesting for Nadir. Nadir's insane right now, as our friend Kyle B was talking about before. You know, I think that a lot of the time what we can do is just go Droplet, Breakboard, Branded Fusion, set Puppet, almost OTK or OTK, and then if not, like, and the Entis just helps us with that and makes Nadir a better going second card. So it's something to consider to run. I think we actually do have a bit more room in the extra deck right now than we did before. Just depending, obviously. So I think Entis could certainly go in there. I like this list actually right here. Whose list was this? So that was Frosty Man's. How's it going, Frosty Man? I don't think you're here in the chat. He's like a Discorder. I actually think it's a pretty solid list, all things considered. Like, you have the Puppet, you have the Nadirs, you have the Maximus, you have the Droplets, you have the Thrusts. It's very similar to my list. I think this is actually card for card my list. So, you know, how could I hate it, guys? I do think, though, the side is, you know, the Drolls can go. I think Change of Heart's actually not that good right now. Like, I've been going back and forth this card. I think Tactics is way better than Change of Heart right now in our deck because of the fact that it's non-targeting take. The non-targeting take, on top of the fact that it has two other effects, are very broken. just makes the card infinitely better than Change of Heart, and like, why would I ever run the other card elsewise kind of thing. So, yeah, Change of Heart, I mean, I would just put more tactics in. Then the Dark Ruler is interesting when you already run Droplet, but I think it's fine at 2. Just for, like, you know, extra backup on Snake Eye and Mid-Adium, I guess. I just think those cards could go too, and then very, very solid extra deck. I actually really do like your list, Frosty Man. Then we got Teemo Dino Shade here. We're actually finally making it to the deck list from today. This is like a deck list from yesterday, guys. Not a fan of the list. I do like the 40 for brand. 2 Aluber is whack. Completely agree. I mean, 2 Aluber is always whack. Oh, I didn't even notice it was 2 Aluber, Chase. That's crazy. Yeah, I wasn't too much of a fan of it, to be honest. So I'm glad you ended up saying that he changed it. But, I really want to fit Stapelia. I can't find the space. Yeah, no, Stapelia is very good right now. I think you need Stapelia too for like the mini games with Cartesia and Quem you have in the grind games. Because if you can just like really control a game through just using Cartesia, Quem, looping Mirror Jade, making Stapelia, just having multiple interrupts just between those 2 cards basically. This list is interesting. 57 card list. Probably should never be running 57 cards. It's either like 60 or you maximize on like the ways to get to 60, or you run like 50 or less. I mean, you run a bunch of hand traps. I mean, 3 Bell, bunch of hand traps, no cross out. I mean, I see what you're doing because you do have the thrust too and the droplets. So I guess that makes sense in like a big build. Like you're gonna need a lot of non-engine. I just think that a lot of the time, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I'd be very interested to play out the hands, but when I see Dissipator, I think like there's probably some things going on in the deck list errors. I just don't think you should be running Dissipator in the branded Despia deck unless you're running the Synchro variant. You're just wasting your space. So the tactics is good. I just, you know, there's a couple things to be doing, to be changing about it. So we got Ashura's list here. Finally got Ashura's list right here. Looking quite interesting with the 3 tactics in the main with Droplet with no thrust. 2 ad lib with, or sorry, 1 ad lib with the 2 Albion. 40 cards with the 3 Droplet. I think you have 10 board breakers, so I'm sufficient on the non-engine guys. I really do think you need at least 10 non-engine and branded, like, to really be having a good time going second right now. That's like the magical ratio at the moment, like 8 to 10. Esther said, this is why I want to play until I can afford Quem and Thrust. What's your thought? Oh, so this is a non-Quem or Thrust build. Nice. So yeah, this is actually very similar to my budget build in that case. And that totally makes sense. I think what you're doing makes complete sense, and you can actually do a lot. I just think you need to have Puppet in this build. When you don't have the Quem, I think like having that Puppet will just help your game 1 boards a lot more. Quem helps a lot in your game 1 boards without Puppet, with or without. Droplet's nice, super probably nice. Tactics, one of the best things right now. 1 duplication you don't need without Thrust. You really don't. Like, it's a good card. You could run it. It's just being unsearchable is like an issue. Like, you would rather play like a Nadir. Like, I would run Nadir personally. I do like the soul releases, the nibs on the side. Side decks seems fine. Droplet, or sorry, Driller might be a bit much, but I think it's probably fine. Nothing too much to say about the extra deck either. Vincity says, so if we run Nadir, do we have to use Thrust, or can we use 3 talents instead? Thrust is still cost a lot. You don't need Thrust. I just think that, and you could run Nadir without Thrust. That's true. You just, I think, in my opinion, have to like be running like Duality at that point, or like Cross Out. Just for something. Or you could just like run a bunch of non-engine and then have the Nadirs to back you up at 40 cards. I just think if you're running over 40, you probably want something on top of the Nadirs if you're not running Thrust kind of thing. On Bufir, too broke for thrusting Quem. Smiley face. That's crying. It is a vibe on Bufir. I really do hope it gets reprinted soon for all y'all. So the deck reads like branded triple tactics thrust. It should be a branded card. Duelist red YUGIOH. I just don't have money for the thrust right now. Lamau. When you get to mine. Oh, that's fair. What thought on 2 Albion on Bufir? I don't like 2 Albion unless you're running brand high spirits is basically the short of it. I think that Albion right now plays into droll unnecessarily, and then also it bricks your hands. Like I ran 2 at the regional and I hated running 2 because one of my worst hands of the day was drawing 2 Albion in the same hand. There are 2 Grand Guignol, but it's like, what do we cut for the second? Like I'm very like, it would be Stepalia if anything. So that is something to consider. I think you could cut a Stepalia for a second Grand Guignol. It's what you value. I think they both are kind of like do enough for the deck that you could justify either. I think that having the 1 Grand Guignol probably justifies having the 1 Stepalia, but we got the soul release, Cosmic Cyclones, Evenleys. We've been seeing a lot of Evenleys and a lot of soul releases, guys. I told you guys we'd be getting to more soul releases as we get to it. And then the Nibiru and Drolls. So, anyways, let's get into Horizon's Master Duel deck list. Not sure if anyone OCG MD players have feedback. Oh wow, we have a OCG MD player. So this is a 1 branded fusion build with 2 opening, obviously because of Master Duel. Those cards are at 2 and 1 respectively. So and obviously you have the Max C minigame that you have to play. So you do run the Maxis and the Ash Blossoms, and this looks like a pretty correct list. I mean, I'd probably be running 3 Nadir. That card just reads branded fusion, so and that card's not 2, so I would be running Nadir at 3 in this list. It just, you know, it gets you there. 2 is just such a weird number to me for that card, especially with Nadir or brand fusions at 1 in that format. Oh, you do run the thrust with the duplication. That's fine. I just think I think thrust and duplication gets like a lot worse though with branded fusion at 1, like because you don't want to banish your 1 branded fusion. So like maybe cross out would just be better at that point, honestly. Thrust is still just an insane card. So like Chase says cutting Stepalia means losing to Flu. Yeah, especially in our builds. So yeah, we would have to find a different solution. I think you're correct on that. You do get 2 called by, which is nice though. And since grass is greener is legal, I'd probably be running that somewhere in here, but that's just me. And yeah, and then really standard Dexter deck. Really not too much to say about that. You know, just up the Nadir counts in my opinion. Like maybe maybe put a high spirits in too, because you run a few dragons. Then we have Malefic Celeste. Shout out to Malefic. Recently just got rank 1 on Duelist Nexus with branded Despia. Community member, always there. Might add another ad-lib for duplication, says on Bufir. I love Evenly, one of my all-time favorites, but the battle phase loss hurts my soul. I feel that. I just feel like it hurts our deck the least because of Gimmick Puppet. Like, we are the only deck that doesn't need to, like, OTK to win the game. That's why I left MD, Maxi minigame, totally fair. Noah lighted. Why do you like branded Despia so much? Because I really like fusion decks, and I think brand Despia, it was the deck I got my first regional top with, which was something I always wanted to do in Yu-Gi-Oh, just being a casual player for most of my life. And since it's a fusion deck, which is my favorite mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh, I like fusing, I like milling, so that's why I went to it after TEARLAMENTS got really hit. I love TEARLAMENTS because it was basically like Sworn Shadalls, and branded is basically like Shadalls, except it's like Dragon Shadalls. It's like Invoke Shadalls kind of. So I really do like the deck a lot. I think it's very good too. Like, I don't just like make these videos for no reason. I think it's a very good deck. You know, one day when the deck becomes a lot more nerfed, if that ever happens, maybe we won't focus as much as on branded Despia, but right now we're going to be doing a lot of branded Despia stuff because it's my favorite deck, so I believe in the deck, so I'm going to push the brand Despia propaganda as long as it's good. But yeah, we got Malefic's list. Very good. This is the list he got rank 1 with. He runs the droplets with the imperm, which is interesting. I'd probably just drop the imperm. I feel like that bricks your deck a little bit, but like obviously imperm doesn't play into tactics, so I actually can't even be mad about running imperm. He runs the droplet. If you're gonna run just imperm, I would say you most likely should just be running droplet, but he's running droplet instead, like 2 on top of that in the main, so I think that's fine to run the imperm alone. It's just that imperm is usually a lot better in tandem with another hand trap, so not seeing another one is kind of like, but he has 2 hand traps on the side, so that definitely does help imperms going second, third game viability. That salty fry. Wait, you like branded? I know, that's crazy, dog. People hate Brandon for the gimmick lock. It's crazy. I know. People hated Brandon before that, though. Like, I made it to Diamond with Brandon, says Jacob the Mom Man. I've barely touched it since. Losing to Maxi is unbearable. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't see how, like, there's these Japanese YCSs. If you guys didn't know this, this will be a small short. Japanese YCSs are best of 1. So that basically means you go into a Japanese YCS, and the one that's coming up has a cap of 8,000 people. So imagine this. You go into a 16-round Swiss YCS, best of 1 format. You lose all your dice. You win all your dice rolls. Let's just say that. You're lucky. You win all your dice rolls. You get max seed every game. And you're out by, like, round 5. Like, you're just gambling at that point. So, do you guys see, like, why Master Duel doesn't work? Like, this is why, like, the TCG is... Like, the TCG completely took Worlds this year because our format is just, like, way more conducive to, like, competitive play. Whereas OCG is like, do you have the max C? It's like it's so redundant. And I used to love the OCG format. I used to think the OCG made better ban lists in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, the TCG had Stratos illegal for like way too long. The TCG having Stratos illegal as long as it was criminal. The card code came back to 1 in 2014. And I think it took until like 2016 for it to come back or something. Maybe even later. So yeah, I just think the TCG is doing really well ever since they banned Maxi. I'll say that. I like this list a lot. 2 Cosmics. I don't like the Lightning Storms personally, but like he's running the Cosmics in the evenly, so he's just breaking every board. Not bad at all. 2 Mirror Jade. Makes sense. Got Boblin, the sexy goblin. Hope you're still here in the chat, brother. Going over your deck list now. 43 cards. Sorry this is taking forever, guys. There are so many deck lists to go through. So, I'm hoping that we are getting to everybody. 46 people watching right now. What is up? What is up, guys? Very much appreciate y'all. Make sure to leave a like on the stream if you have not already. And if you haven't already, join the Discord, post your deck list, and we'll go over it. So this is a interesting list. Boblin the Sexy Goblin says, thoughts. Shaddolls are because I lose all my die rolls anyways. Also easy for side targets for going first. And while Winda isn't gimmick puppets, wasting the battle phase is usually enough. I mean, on top of Mysterion, I think there's a lot you could be doing different with your extra deck, frankly, brother. And I also think that if you're going to play if I'm going to lose all my die rolls, like I lost all my die rolls in my deck and it was just fine. You just have to run things like, Droplet, and like obviously the Shaddol fusion helps against the Fire King matchup, but you don't need it. Your engine can play through the Fire King and Snake Eye boards without the Shaddol fusion, without the Soul Release, so you don't need to main deck these cards whatsoever. Your engine should be able to play through them just fine. You just need to see Tactics, Thrust, Branded Fusion, Lost, combination of those cards, or even other non-engine. Or even Albaz. Normal Summon Albaz just cooks a Fire King player right now, guys. If you have not noticed, because most of their boards are, like, not on a negate. Anoelated says, I'm making a Monarch Kashtira deck, picking up for my last few cards tomorrow. Hell yeah, brother. Good luck with that. Monarch Kashtira is cool. I used to love Monarchs. Monarchs is one of my favorite decks from back in the day. Do you guys... I was doing Gimmick Puppet before Gimmick Puppet was a thing. I know Extra Deck Monarchs was a thing. I just played domain monarchs back in the day, and I would just run up locals and crush streams like I do now with Gimmick Puppet. The fuck I came here from Melfi, says the Salty Fry Lamau. I like the deck I used to play normal Brandon. Nice. On Bufir sound like a terrible format. Yeah, it's not great. Carlimbus, that really speeds up rounds up. Yeah, it really does though. It at least speeds up rounds, right? Like you're at least in and out, and like, but that's why it feels like gambling if you're doing best of one maxi minigame at a YCS. Like imagine that. Like imagine you get to the end of a YCS a 20 round YCS at that point, because then you have to do top cut after the 16 rounds with 8,000 people. You're gonna have to feel like the luckiest man on the world. Like, and obviously there's skill associated with it, but a lot of these games will end up being, do you have maxi or not? Because Yu-Gi-Oh is such a power crap game where if you get maxied and pass turn, your opponent kills you. And it's like, what, do you have the maxi? No? Okay, well, handshake. So, Jake the Mountain Man, I'd be on Master Duel every day if they had TCG player ranked with siding. Completely agree. I'd drop Omega in the second. Boblin the Sexy Goblin, yeah. Kyle B, the OCG is just not the same level of competition as the TCG, if we're being honest. Completely agree. Thus Squared, how's it going? How's it going, brother? But I think the OCG is actually a very cool format. They have a lot of cool cards. I just think that Maxi really does water it down, unfortunately. And I think that the OCG, I don't know if they'll ever ban it. I hear people in the TCG wanting Maxi back. I'm like, that's insane to me. Like, at least we have back and forth in our game. Like, what should I get first, Quem or Thrust? Quem on Bufir. It's engine. Thrust is not engine. You can run Nadir cross out. Card limits, I think one of the best YCS is so you don't have to spend so much on lodge and food on like 2 days events. Yeah, like 1 day events are nice. That's why I do like oh god. Am I lagging a little bit? I was lagging. I should be good now. Quemanbu, living it. How's it going? I'm fresh into building brand Despia budget. Your videos have helped a lot. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Olive. I'll be releasing much more branded learning content in the future, so make sure to be on the lookout for that. But I appreciate your support. Thank you very much. It means a lot. We're on the road to 4K subscribers, so everyone, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, like the video, turn on the bells, check out those links below if you want to support the channel and put out more great brand Despia content. Almost done catching up on chat, then we'll finish this these deck profiles. I showed Pack video. I was like, how does this MF be so good? Yo, Pack is like the GOAT. He's honestly the GOAT. He's the guy. He, like, everyone wants to be like Pack because he's just a cool ass motherfucker, man. Like he's great at the game. He came from YouTube. He came from basically nothing in the game and then made a name out of himself. That's what everyone wants to do in this game. And he makes fantastic content, and he's a really great player. So, you know, all love to Pack. Have not played against him yet. Just have not been back in the game long enough in order to do that, and have gone to enough events. And he, surprisingly though, because he is from New York, so, and I'm from New York too, but I'm from upstate, and that is 9 hours away from the city. If you guys are, so like, I don't go to New York City for regionals because I might as well go to like Ohio, which is 4 hours away instead of 9 hours in New York City. Boblin the Sexy Goblin. So for the comments, it's just swap out the Shadals for breakers. Yes. Also, the brand Banishment I think could go on the side, and also the Mysterion needs to go. I like Winda, but like, obviously, if you don't have the Puppet, if you can't afford Puppet, you could side the Shadal package and then run the Winda stuff too for going first. I think that's fine. And then obviously you put the droplets in the main, and like you can put the Masquerade in the main. Just take out Mysterion. It's not that good. Like, how the fuck Maxi at 3 and Fenrir at 1? I know, right? Annihilated. Like, the TCG was very smart in not limiting Fenrir. That card does not deserve to be at 1. Like, only in terms of a pure kashtira build. And guess what? You kill pure kashtira by banning Birth. So just ban Birth if you don't want kashtira to be a playable deck. Kashtira Fenrir is a very cool tech piece. I'm really glad it's at 3 for that reason. One One of the people who want Max C back. Really, Duelist Red YGO. Why do you want Max C back? I'm just curious. Like, no hate. I'm just curious. I know I'm not the meta, but we established that they'll draw 2 with Max C. I'll draw like 16, says card limits Lamau. Imagining somebody full combos with you, Snake Eye Fire King, then drops Max C. Vin City, dang, everybody deck list so good on Discord. Mine looks like we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Did I go over yours yet? Isn't Brand Fuse at 1 in MD? Yes, I know elated. On Bufir just said he hate branded. In this format, Eliminate says what hand traps are the absolute must. I think Nib is the absolute must, especially for a branded player. You need to be running Nib in your side or main. Mostly your side, but like you can main it if you want. I wouldn't be maining any other hand traps in branded unless you're on crossout. If you're on crossout, you should probably have a Imperm Ash and Bell package. Even Nib, but you could even have a Nib in there. And obviously Tactics too. Tactics on crossout's quite good. My deck is up next, says Dual Restored YGO. Rain TCG. Hey Chris, I finally ordered a puppet. Shout to Battles for the reprint. How many ways can we access puppet lock? Never done it. Oh, it's one of my favorite questions. We can actually basically any way to puppet is like branded fusion plus a light spellcaster. Brand fusion plus a light spellcaster equals puppet lock. So that means any combination of like Quem Cartesia, you know, any way to brand fusion is usually a puppet lock. So definitely check out, I do have a how to play branded series. I have several combo guides, specific videos on the puppet lock and ways to get into the puppet lock. Highly recommend checking out those videos because that's how you will learn the easiest ways to puppet lock and what cards you can use to puppet lock. We'll be releasing more combos in the future, but I have a lot of combo videos on the puppet lock, specifically how you can do a true 1-card combo puppet lock with like Nadir Servant. Like Nadir Servant is one of the best cards with puppet lock because it's basically reads free puppet lock. So yeah. You live in New York. I'm close. Yes, on Bufir. I'm in upstate, sir. Jake the Mountain Mag. PAX acknowledges why he's so good, knowing what to hit when it and when in his power. Yes, and that's what I've actually found with Yu-Gi-Oh! I felt so helpless in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! When I just came back to the game and I didn't know what any deck did. I played full power Tearlament, but I sucked because I did not know what any of these decks did. So and my deck took forever to play, so I was just going to time all the time because I had to read everyone's cards. So it was really just not a fun experience. But once I like got into the game for at least 6 months, picked up branded, started playing against other decks, went to some events, I actually started learning what these decks did. And now I go to locals every week for the most part. Go to events every month. At least one event like once a month, like whether it's an OTS or a regional, once every 2 months I'd say actually at this point, but because there's just not a lot around. So yeah, it just comes with time. Impact plays a lot and he knows a lot of really good players that help him, and he's just the work ethic he has for the game. Like he learns every deck. The streams he was doing, like, you know, he put in the work and he's getting the results. And that's what you do with Yu-Gi-Oh! Can't just wish yourself to be a good player. You gotta put in the work. You've got to do the research. You gotta know the rulings. You gotta know what your opponent's deck does. If you're reading your opponent's deck at a tournament, that's what your opponent wants to see, man. You know, that's one of the things. So learning what your opponent's cards does is one of the most important tips I could give you to becoming better at Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not like the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Player at all. It's just like I've seen an obvious progression in like my skill with Yu-Gi-Oh! Since I've come back, and like there's still a lot to go. However, I think that these are tips that like could apply to anybody. So yeah, Vincity. I go the puppets will swap Mist for drag out, I guess. Yeah, I just think Mysterion just doesn't come out enough. So if you're gonna go into Mysterion, like especially if you don't even have the brand white, so it just isn't gonna come out up as much. Lava Golem Kashtira isn't doing anything. Yeah, Lava Golem used to be my favorite side against Kashtira, actually. Good point. My deck list picture looks like crap. No, you haven't went over it yet. If you want to be gentle, I've been learning to play Brand Despia for almost 2 weeks. Hell yeah, brother. Of course. Will do. Thanks for answering my question, Chris. No problem. Same with Vinci. I'm ready for roast of my life. How many? Okay. So we're going to do this now. So we're done with this deck. Very good deck. Just, you know, change out a few things. Mysterion, I just don't think it's working right now. Your side deck's very good right now. So very good. Oh, and now we have Zombie Horde. What's up, Zombie Horde? We finally got you in the chat. All right. So Zombie Horde is going, shout out Zombie Horde. He's been in the Discord a lot chatting, so we love our new members of our community. 43 cards, 2 Quem, you love to see it. You do have the Nadir package with the Thrust package, with the Foolish, with the Gold Stark, with the Tragedies, with the standard ratios of 3 Aluber, 3 Albaz, 2 Quem, and 1 Duplication. I really like this list. You're 43 cards, and you got everything in there. Except I think this list just doesn't have Droplet. Zombie Horde, I would just be doing something about Droplet. Like, I don't mean to just put everybody on my list, but like, I think Droplet should be in your main or side. That's kind of what I would do with this list. I do like it. I love the double Grand Guignol, brother. How do you like the double Grand Guignol, Mr. Zombie Horde? Very much curious about that. I think the double Grand Guignol helps your grind game. I see no Stapelia, so that is something that we talked about before, Chase. You know, that was probably the most cuttable thing. And then you do have the Ash Blossoms in the side deck. That is something I wanted to make. Like, if you expect a lot of Labyrinth, like, sure, keep them in. I just think that Ghost Bell is going to probably be better than Ash Blossom overall. So I think I made an incorrect mistake on my regional list with putting that there. Very good list, though. All right, so Duelist Red, we got your list up after Card Limits list. All right, so guys, we got our weekly Card Limits update on his God Numeron build, and we also have a new build this time. So here's the introduction from Card Limits. I was saying these are actually 2 separate decks I own right now. I'm also going to make you an Obelisk Blue Card Limits because you come through to every stream and you also post, you know, every time we have a deck list coming on. So you're very much an important member of the community. So appreciate you, brother. I was saying these are actually 2 separate decks I own right now. New Monster Reborn is Talents, and New Soul Exchange is Paw of Desires. Oh, okay, got it. They're supposed to... So, if you guys see those cards in here, those are the new cards. There's supposed to be a form of rivalry between them, plus Wicked Sacred Beast has some absurd condos, like 10k Armalite and 10,100 Avatar. Holy gosh. Okay, so this is the Sacred Beast deck. So, my man likes to build God decks. However, we're having 2 competing decks here with the Sacred Beast, of course, from YUGIOH GX, and then the gods from the original DM format. So we have here the Wicked Avatar. We have 2 of each of the Sacred Beasts. We do have the Ricket. Oh my gosh, this guy is so cool. I forgot what he's called. The Wicked Dreadroot, I think. And then we have, oh my gosh, I can't even tell what that is. I'm pretty sure this is one of the new support cards. Then we have the Wicked Avatar, then we have the Wicked Eraser, then the Dark Summoning Beast. Planetary Pathfinder, because this deck also relies on the Numeron engine in order to get out these tributes for these big monsters, because the Numerons obviously are just a bunch of special summons. So, very much it makes sense with the Numeron package. He does have the Chaos Summoning Beast and then the Dark Beckoning Beast. Very cool. Chaos Core makes sense, and he has the Ghost Spooky Dogwood. So does Spooky Dogwood, what is the synergy with Spooky Dogwood in this deck in particular? Oh, and then we have the Yubel stuff as well, because it does work in here from Phantom Nightmare, which is very cool, because the Yubel stuff is also low-key support for the Ritual Beast, so very cool. You do run 3 of the Armitile guy. Very crazy. Is this just an alternate art, or is that another one? I think that's another. Yeah, it is. That's cool. They made a retrain version of him. That's cool. So this is very cool. How do you like the new Yubel stuff? Very much curious how you like that in the Sacred Beast build. And which build do you like more? Because I know you've been more on the God build, but like, so you said this inspiration was kind of like this rivalry between the decks, obviously, with the lore. I would just like to see which one you like more. Card Limits opening the Spirit Gates is technically Sacred Beast. Oh, okay. Well, here is the updated God deck, guys. As you guys know, we go over this deck basically every week now with Card Limits coming through. And we love to see the little updates. My man cooked freaking Snake Eye Fire King in the opening week with this deck, and my man had like a whole crowd around him. Like, this deck is very much underrated. Numeron is one of those decks that you will lose to if you're not prepared for it, and also if you're just caught slipping. And just the God stuff obviously just adds a whole nother layer on it. And the 60 cards, I love it. Obviously, he does run the new Monster Reborn. I think it's supposed to be the Desires, and then spell card Monster Reborn right there. And then we do have the spell card Soul Exchange 2 right there, which is a 1-for-2 Monarch Stormforth, which is very cool. You do run 2 of each of the gods on top of the Spirit of Ra plus 3 Sphere mode because you get that for free. You also get to run the Spooky Dogwood because, as he's explained before in the past, you can use Spooky Dogwood to get your life points ahead and then also just make your Winged Dragon Ra very big. So very, very broken in that respect. And then obviously the Numeron stuff plus the Planetary Pathfinder. However, the Planetary Pathfinder goes very hard in this deck because obviously you're getting the field spell for the Mound of the Bone Creator. Then you have the Twin Sun God, which is the True Sun God. And then a few other of the cards on top of the new OCG cards, and the Sky Dragon, the broken Revive Sky God trap card. I remember when that card was coming out, people were like, "Wow, Slifer's broken now." I don't think it really did anything competitively, but it was still very cool. So my list, I'm really thinking adding Droplet now after seeing all the other ones. Yeah, Droplet's very good. Kyle B, 2 Quem is mandatory in my opinion. Agreed, unless you're running like Adlib. So much of my locals is them reading my stuff. That's hilarious. That's honestly hilarious. Card limits, I love that. I just appreciate that people are out here cooking very cool lists and not just playing like the meta and still like, you know, going to locals every week and still cooking. Michael Stevens, so I just got back into the brand since Chimera came out. I'm loving Quemet 2, almost feels necessary. Yes, very much agree with that. Quemet 2 because you always want to use one on your turn and you want to use one on your opponent's turn, so. Or just for the crackback, obviously. Opening the Michael Stevens also, I'm really liking Performer Pal 5 Rainbow Magician in the main in place of Decklocked on the side. Oh, I think I saw your comment earlier today. Somebody suggested that. So what do you like that against? Which matchups? I'm curious because those decks, or Deck Lockdown was really good with Unchained, and then 5 Rainbow is really good against Super Heavy. Card Limit says God cards are naturally stronger. Soul Exchange is going to bring them on even territory. Oh, that's fair. Wicked Eraser is excellent. Black Rose to sup and OTK. Oh, I forgot. It basically is that. Alright, Dad, I'm ready to roast me. Don't hold back. Also, add again tight on money, so the thrust is no-go right now. Also, guys, if you go pick up your brand stuff or anything TCG related, don't forget he's got an affiliate link. Yes, thank you, Duelist Red YUGIOH. For reminding everybody, I do have a TCG player affiliate link. Basically, that means on all your TCG player purchases, if you use my link, I get a small kickback from your purchases. No additional cost to yourself. So that's why you should make sure bookmark it, use it as your usual TCG player affiliate link, and you'll be able to support me just passively through your purchases, and it goes back into making great brand Despia content. So very much do appreciate it. Link down below. Alright, so let's do this. Let's see Duelist Reds. Duelist Red YUGIOH, our resident mod in the chat. So he's right now not on the thrust life because thrusts are expensive, and honestly, not spending money on cardboard is understandable. Especially when the card's gonna definitely get like a common printing at some point. Well, I mean, I guess Talents hasn't, so maybe not for a bit. But you know, it'll probably be in the rarity collection. I gotta take some ibuprofen. The headache's starting to come on. Damn, this is like the longest deck list review video I've done. Remember, guys, we're on YouTube, so make sure to say hi to YouTube. Okay, so I already like off the bat, it's a 40 card list, Mr. Duelist Red YUGIOH. So it can't be too bad, right? And you got the double Quem. I could already sign off on the list. And I see the droplet too. We love to see it. This is actually a really... Why am I supposed to hate on this list, brother? This is a very good list. Okay, you know what? I'm going to hate on it. You have Tualuber? What are you doing, brother? Tualuber, come on. What are we doing with Tualuber, Duelist Red YUGIOH? you're gonna need the third Aluber when you don't have the kit. I mean, I do like, okay, so you do have the ad lib plus the gimmick puppet. So in my opinion, I do like the list a lot. Okay, so I think without obviously thrust, you do run the crossout package, and you have a nice package with the Ash Blossom. That sounds wrong. Ash Blossom, Ghost Spell, and impermanence, and then you have the droplets. Even you have no super poly though. What is I'm curious why no super poly. Super poly actually isn't, like, it's not perfect this format, but I still think Mud Dragon's amazing. But the fact I presume super poly is in the side deck with this kind of extra deck. Like, it has to be with Garura Mud Dragon. So you know, if you have to side those in, that's fine. Then you have hand traps for going first. I guess that does actually make sense, like in the game ones, because game ones, you know, you're gonna lose 50% of your die roll, so having those hand traps might be better at the end of the day than just the super poly sometimes, especially when you're on the crossout package over the thrust. So I think there's a logic. I just think the 3 Aluber. I don't like ad lib, but if you like the ad lib, that's totally fair. Besides that, I really like the list, and keep on trucking, brother. Also, like super poly in the main, like, you gotta do it. But that's besides the point. Like, I would be running droplet or super poly in the main over droplet personally, especially when you already have the hand trap package. Like, imperm is nice with any combination of hand traps. Sprined in the extra deck is cool. I've actually been considering running Sprined because it's one of our only forms of spell and trap card removal that we have in our deck. So yeah, it's something that we're going to consider. And then he has the Proskenion too. Proskenion's cool. It's good against Fire Kings. It's just kind of hard to get out. So I think Proskenion gets better when you run like 2 Grand Guignol's. Sideboard go Hush Hush. Adlib has saved my ass so much on GL. That's why I'm like, I understand if you run it. Michael Stevens, Fire King is Snake Eye, and for Doc Lockdown with 5 Rainbow, I've had luck with them not being able to activate monster effects because they have pure gas. Also makes Sanctifier much easier. Oh, that's fair. Also gets set during Unphase and Pen Zone when Albion gets set to spell and trap card. And so, oh, that's cool. That's something to consider, for sure. I didn't know that interaction, actually, with the card. So I do like the deck. How do you like Proskenion? I see the Proskenion. Masquerade, you don't probably need in the main, personally, but that's just me. Getting down to all the homies deck lists. We got Yuri Diaz's deck list in chat. It's a 40 card budget list below $50, guys. So if you're looking for a budget list, this is something you could always consider. You got the Dramaturge with the ad lib and the gimmick puppet, and this is actually with puppet, which is pretty crazy because I think the reprint's out, so the price probably tanked on puppet. You got double duplication plus the fright for, so that makes sense. And then no crossouts. I'd probably be running crossout, but crossouts I think too expensive right now. Like, that card's like $15, I think. So it makes sense, but this is certainly something that you could have as an idea for a budget list if you're looking for one. Okay, we got Jake the Mountain Man's final list here. Just put that on screen since we've been review it. Do you like the double Quem and the kit he said he likes? Bit updated from his last list. Oh, he has the Proskenion in there. Very nice. I think Proskenion makes sense. I really do like the list. You see the 2 Aluber? Lol. Yes, I did. I did see the 2 Aluber. No vanity. Why don't I deserve to be an Obelisk Blue? Obelisk Blue is just kind of like a whole, like, you know, like, it's a wholesale, just kind of like I put it down in the rule section of the Discord how to get Obelisk Blue. It's a bit nebulous, but it's kind of like you're there in every stream. I'm seeing you basically. You know, you're a mainstay in the community. Card limits comes through to every stream. I've gotta give it to him. So it's something definitely to. No vanity. You're very much working yourself up to that. I gotta see. I don't even know if you're in the Discord though, no Vandy. I think you are. You have to be. So yeah, I do like this list though. And then got Asura's updated list with the patchwork engine, with Allure. I feel like this list just loses to Droll, unfortunately. But it's very cool. Anbu, was that you? Is this you, Anbu, that I'm reviewing? I can't tell. Nice, mine is only under $100. Yep. Oh wow, really card limits and 60 cards. That's crazy. All right, so let's review Vin City's finest, West Virginia's finest here. Okay, so I have two different branded versions, he said, of the deck. Could use help when it comes to what to put in the side as well. Please give some tips. From West Virginia, very nice. All right, so in terms of the side deck, I actually like the side deck a lot. Like, this side deck's very solid. I just think like Droll, depending on your what you're expecting. I think that Droll could be cut, frankly, though. I think the side's very good. I think more tactics would be nice. Oh, you have 3 tactics, but no thrusts, obviously. Yeah, if you could have thrust, pun thrust, you have the puppet, ad-lib. 1 Quem, very nice ratios between all those with the Nadir. I really like this build. I have no complaints with this build for the most part. Like cross out maybe, and like maybe putting your cards closer to 40 cards, but there's not much you can cut. Like, I would take out the fusion duplication personally. And with the 44 card list with crossouts, oh, so I see that's the difference between crossout and Nadir. I would just be mating tactics too somehow, but it might be kind of hard. Like, you don't need the Droll. I don't think you need to main Droll personally in this kind of build because Droll doesn't hurt you. So I think that like tactics would do a lot more than Droll in this main deck personally. But I would definitely keep like the ratios of 3, especially without thrust. You know, somewhere between your main and side. Dragoon, how do you like that right now? Dragoon could go potentially 2 in my opinion. And then you have the droplets and evenly, and the wooden Tikaboo with the I think you do have the cosmics. I like how everybody is like running cosmics. I don't know if there's a list tonight without cosmics, frankly. So yeah, there's not too much I could really say to do these decks outside of like obviously like you could run Nadir and cross out, my friend. That's something you can consider too. Obviously, when you did that, you can't quite run the droplets, but then you could like side droplet, or I mean that's hard, right, with the super poly too. So it's just stuff to experiment with. Playing to win my locals, very nice, very solid list. I would just say the fusion dupe without the thrust is like the main glaring thing, and then obvious. Also, like you could even cut down Gold Sark and Talent or Foolish maybe, but that's about it. Very good list, brother. Like very good list. Only been playing branded 2 weeks, but I feel like you get you get it. All right, so we got Jorge. How's it going, brother? We saw him in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still with us. My ever-changing deck list got Thrust and Gimmick Puppet coming in the mail and some other cards I want to try out, but this seems like a solid list in my opinion. Let's check it out. So he is running 3 Duality. We love seeing Duality tonight. Shout out to my Duality gamers in the chat. I'm not saying Duality is the best card. I just love seeing Duality. It's just such a fun card. And unique card in Yu-Gi-Oh! So 41 cards, very close to 40. You love to see it. The board breakers, guys. 6 board breakers plus Droll. I'd be running Droplet over Droll, frankly. Droll doesn't do enough against certain decks, and it doesn't do enough against Fire King, frankly, unless they just draw a weak ass hand. So droplet would do a lot better, and then you could side the draw or just take it out and then side in like the crossouts and all that. I think running the crossouts in the side with duality in the main is fine, so you don't brick on crossout and duality. That's the thing with duality. If you're running duality, you can't like main a lot of anti-Ash stuff. Like at most, it's like Nadir. Tactics is nice though, obviously, and then the duplication I would just remove without the thrust. Then you have Garuba on the side, which is interesting. Obviously because like Mud Dragon's way better right now, so I understand it actually. With no Nadir, I understand it. It makes 100% sense. Go spell Ash Blossom, cross out Preskinion. Preskinion's neat, and then signing the hand trap package. I think that's fine. Foolish on the side is a bit whack though. I'm not gonna lie. I would also put Puppet in here. You need Puppet or Ad-lib for your plays. Definitely Puppet or Ad-lib, but I think you said you're waiting on them, so makes sense. All right, we got Boblin, the sexy goblin, with the updated list for our second last deck list before we are done with these Discord deck lists. This is gonna be like an hour-long video on just me going through your deck list. But we've all just been chilling. It's been a fun time, right, guys? Just 40 people just chilling, going through deck lists together. It's been a great time this whole time. Chase, I'm thinking about maining Cosmic Inciting Droplet. That is a bold move to do against with Snake Eyes around. I've thought about maining Cosmic. I even thought about maining it last format. I just like can't find myself to bring myself to do it. But I get it. I get it. I think if anything, you should be maining Cosmic over like a Feather Duster in my opinion, because at least you can start going first. So, am I Chase going first or second? Cosmic has you covered. Droplet going first can be tedious. I don't mind Droplet going first, but I get it. I do get it. What's for Vincent? Appreciate. I've been grinding when it comes to learning Brandon. Of course, your videos, streams help me a lot. Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. Keep up the good work, brother. Your build's very solid. Once you start learning the interactions, you're gonna be a wicked Branded player. I already see it. Boblin the Sexy Goblin. Love seeing all the lists. Hell yeah. Makes me think about options. Yeah, that's why I thought this would be a really good stream. We just go over all the Branded lists right now in the format, so we can all just see where we are in the format with this deck. And I think this stream turned out actually very, very good for that. As a resource. Because I didn't have like an originally like great plan for today's stream, but then I was like, well, I want to record like double up with these streams, make YouTube content, and then also stream. So the streams are better too because it makes it more engaging. I'm making good content for the stream and for my YouTube, so because I can just edit it up and make it look all nice from here for the people who watch it afterwards. Because not everybody watches the streams, which is fine at the time. If you Cosmic the Island against Fire Kings, you win. Yes, Chase. Yes, you do. That's why I love that card. Big facts. All right, so this is Boblin's updated list. Let's roast it. Okay, 42 cards. It looks really good, actually. I like offhand. I really can't complain about anything in here. 42 cards, 3 super poly, 3 droplet, 3 thrust, 1. Wait, how would you fit? And you run Foolish. Like, how did you hit 42 cards? Like, I'm trying to think of what cards you have aren't running over me. It's a very good list. At 42 cards too, I might try this list. Yeah, minus the ad-lib. I don't like ad-lib, guys. Like, I'm a certified ad-lib hater as a Branded person on YouTube. I'm sorry. I just hate drawing that card. I hate that card being in my deck. I hate sending it off a Grand Guignol. But I get it. People see ad-lib lines and it works out for them. So you're missing 4 spells, so that means you're not running Nadir. Not running Nadir. Oh, this list looked so good until I saw there's no Nadir. Because you're running a lot of non-engine, so you're going to get like a lot of hands without an extender. So I would try Nadir personally. But I do like the Sprind, you know, you gotta have that spot removal. So I think what you could do is maybe like put 3 Albion in and then like 2 High Spirit too. That kind of equivalence to like running 3 Nadir in my opinion. Yeah, no lib makes 41, which is even tighter. Oh my gosh. Ad lib versus puppet, says Chase. No, that's fair. Like, we got 2 branded thoughts over here, and that's what we love about branded. You can run the deck multiple different ways. I gotta let my biases gotta present them at the door, you know. That's why you will never see ad lib in one of my lists unless it is a budget list. Or until something really happens to change the branded deck. I just think Quem fulfills that role, and you don't need a 3rd Mirror Jade most of the time. Like, if you've double Mirror Jaded your opponent, they probably lose by that point because you have other things going on, like Grand Guignol and Stepelia. And, like, obviously, like, Droplet and Super Poly. I can get Nadir and Maximus, I guess. That's something to consider. I would test. Like, just test. Like, if you like this list and you don't see hands where you're drawing all non-engine, then Nadir not running Nadir is fine. I just think Nadir would smooth out this deck very well. Like, because that way you could draw, like, Thrust, Droplet, Super Poly, Tactics, and, like, a Nadir and not lose going first. Or, like, Adlib, you know? It just helps unbrick your hands. It makes your hands way better. Draken, is Droplet good into Fire King Snake Eyes? I haven't versed them as much and noticed they use Graveyard Effect a lot. It's very good against Snake Eye in particular because the pure Snake Eye variant sets up a bunch of Omni Negates. It's not as good as against Fire King. However, they still go into IP. They still resolve Flameberg. And they still can go into Apo. So it's still very good against them, and it's pretty good for getting their attacks down so you can run over things. Because you gotta remember, Droplet halves the attack. Very good list. I like the Banishment on the side. And then the Drolls and Main, and then Herald, and the Masquerade, and the Cosmics. Very good list, brother. Like that a lot more than your first list. Alright, and here is the last list we've got here. We've got the GOAT in the chat, Josh. With the fully German branded Despia deck. That is beautiful. Holy, German's one of my favorite languages for Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That and French I do like a lot, but I've been liking them all. Like, I love Italian now too. But like, look at all those names. I love it. So yeah, this is a very solid list. Shout out to Josh. We're gonna actually have a gift to open up on stream from Josh. He sent me some pretty cool gifts, and I want to show off his work and give him some nice advertisement because he was nice enough to send me out a field center that he made. So yeah, this list is pretty cool. We got 3 Fallen of Albaz, 3 Luber, 1 Quem, 2 Cartesia, 1 Albion, 1 Tragedy, 1 Merc. The Bestials, no Mag though, with the Maximus plus Nadir package. Yep. And then we have the Super Poly Droplets with the Dark Magician and the Gimmick Puppet. Then we have, we do have the Imperms actually. Imperm's also a Thrust target, guys. Remember that. So like Thrust with Imperm has always made sense to me. Just on top of the Droplet, I'm just curious how you think. We do see the 2 Mirror Jade plus the Dragoon, so that's interesting. We do see the Super Poly targets and the Stepelia, so fitting everything out in there is nice. We did see a list similar earlier with the drop. I think it was Malefics with the Droplet and the Imperm. Makes sense. And then in the side we have the Nib and the Drolls and the Evenly and the Cosmics, and then 1 Magnum, 1 Herald, and the Feather Duster. I actually do miss running the 1 of Magnum. I've been seeing that in a few of these lists. It's something I might consider you know, especially if more like dark decks creep back in the format. But for now, I don't think it's necessary. But you know, gotta do what you gotta do, and the Herald of the Abyss is there for all those tower stacks that you need to get over. Italian's by far my favorite, says Duelist Red YGO. Yeah, I've started getting really onto I've been really getting onto Italian foreign Yu-Gi-Oh cards because of my boy Yuri Diaz in the chat. His whole brand deck is Italian. It's beautiful. Chase says, all right, I'm going to 2 Grand Guignol. You heard it here first, folks. Chase from our second deck that we reviewed is going to 2 Grand Guignol. It's certainly something I've been thinking about testing. What are you cutting for it though, Chase? I've got to know. All right, and then the 3 Thros. I really do like this list. I'm just curious what you think about the Dark Magician right now. Like, why are you running that? I'm assuming for lab. Like, this meta is so weird because it's a tier 0 format. I want to wrap up this discussion on these deck lists for the video and for everybody on the stream, since we've been going through these deck lists for a while now, to say, you know, take it with a grain of salt when you're looking at all these decks. Test them all out. Make sure you test things out for yourself and see what works for you, because Branded is a very malleable deck. You get out of it what you put in. And it's also just very buildable to how you want to play the game. You can build more of a control or more of an OTK kind of deck, you know, obviously. So it's to each their own. Find what works for you. I think that we've seen a lot of different trends though that have really stuck there. And the thing is that in a tier 0 format, we can kind of forget about some of our bad matchups like Lab and Flu when we aren't going to see those decks very often, outside of like maybe once every couple tournaments. So because of that, we're able to actually get flexible with what we're doing. Like, we don't need Herald of the Abyss in our deck. We don't need a Flu out necessarily. I mean, obviously we have Stepelia, but like, that's why I think like Dragoon's very, not mandatory right now. So, with that being said, I very much appreciate everybody watching this video on the stream and on the YouTube VOD. Make sure to leave a comment below and get this video to 200 likes. And we will cover more deck lists coming up in the next week. And make sure to join the Discord to post your deck list for next week. All right, with that being said, see you guys later. And if you're still here on stream, make sure to stick around, because I'm going to take a short break and then decide what we're doing from there. Probably doing a couple ranked games. But yeah, guys, very much appreciate it. Leave some questions down below. I'll answer them as I get back. And guys, make sure to check out the links below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Turn on the bell for notifications. Check out my TCG Player affiliate link. Join the membership squad to support the channel for $5 a month. And join the Discord and follow my Twitter, all that fun stuff. BRB. Special shout out to the channel members. We have recently started channel memberships, so if you'd like to support the channel for $5 a month and get some great channel perks, including getting all of my deck lists early and some early videos, then make sure to sign up. You also get a cool shout out. So shout out to this month's channel members, Yuri Diaz and Foss Squared. Thank you guys so much.